Oh yeah, those classic tunes on Scrap Mechanic Radio. You kind of hear it wafting down from the fresh bar far above me in the treehouse there, way up there. Hey everybody, how you doing? Dreadicus here. Gonna take you on a tour of the estate. It's like the second base I really built. Base, homestead, eclectic, collecting yard, wherever you want to call it. And there's some of that right there, right? So I'm just take you around on a quick tour, show you a few things that I've built, and do another kind of introduction to Dread. All right, guys, let's go. The flush, love it. I love that toilets are in this game. All right, so what are we on here? Next to the treehouse, if you saw my first video, this is kind of the construction area. Put it out on water to avoid bots and whatnot. And to be quite honest, the spot I picked to build the treehouse in this little area here, which is just down the road from Collectors, the vegetable packaging place over there, Collector. But no bots spawn. I don't know what it is. This is a little strip of land where just no bots seem to show up. So all my defenses and protection were for naught. But I built them anyhow because it was fun. So just in case bots ever did want to show up, you have a pretty simple drawbridge. Sort of simple, I guess. Not 100% the best thing in the world. I built this a long time ago. I know some tricks now to make it even better, but you can say, well, it's not a drawbridge. It didn't actually draw back. Yeah, that's true. All right, I built a collapsing, folding bridge that sinks underwater. Ta-da. And yes, you can drive vehicles on it, and it's pretty darn solid, as you'll see. All right, so we are out the construction area. Just spot here. Hey, look at that. Working on I've got 1,000,000 of these things scattered around. I'm going to start collecting them and just make a huge long raft of floating green heads. Basic setup, you see a lot of people do. Just in case you've seen this and aren't quite sure what's going on here, if you're new to Scrap Mechanic, this is your main build robot. This is your craft bot. And if you have materials and boxes that are connected on the left side, it's in port. It'll allow you to pull from any of those resources in the box, in any of the boxes, to make anything that you might be able to have resources to make. As you can see here, got lots of things stashed in various boxes. Seem to be short on glue. I have to make a glue run, maybe even some circuit runs here eventually. But the purpose of connecting them all with other boxes and those cool clear tubes, by the way, you know they are in use and connected properly when they light up blue, is so that they obviously pull from any box to craft whatever you want, and it outputs it directly into a box. So if you look at here, if you never noticed this before, it's got a double arrow with this little symbol. That means whatever it makes is going into a box. You can't actually pick it up from the craft bot as you do in early stages when you're just starting out. Connected on the other side of this box is, hey, my refinery. So anything it crumples up, stone, wood, metal, goes into this box. So this box here is mainly the resource box, so to speak, sort of. Anyway, let's get on with it. I got blue lighting everywhere for this area. I think it's kind of cool lighting, kind of mellow, kind of calming. It's kind of what I want because I use this area for building vehicles and stuff, so that's the right mood. Yes, that is a monorail trail. Show you that in some upcoming videos. It is a working monorail, works rather well. All right, we're gonna get in the woohoo. you a little bit to the estate car. I call it the estate car because it looks like a golf cart. I'm going to run it on battery. Even on an electric 5, I was like, yeah, I just like the gas engine. It starts slow. I've got it like on the lowest setting, but for power. But once you get moving, it can go good enough. So we're going to go down the road here just a little bit because I want to show you a few things here. Part of the estate. This is the far arm of it. There's that collection place I was telling you about. So this used to be my first farm. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, so it's hard to get out of the golf cart sometimes. Gotta fix that roof. Let me out! Oh, it almost let me out. Thank you. Stupid golf cart. Stupid creator. Oh, that's me. Anyway, this used to be actually the second place that we used to farm. Why did I just do that? Well, because that's for people. I need to close this up a little bit more because I've actually found out robots can kind of get up in there too. But anyway, this was totally closed off. Did this just to show you quickly. It's also fenced off across the water in the back there. Ooh, some big vehicles. I'll show you those in a minute. The farm was back here, but it got moved. We moved it to a new place. I'll show you where the farm is and much more spectacular kind of setup. But this was a good test for me to learn how to make some traps in the game. So let's say the raid is on. They generally will not attack ramps. You can get ramps from tops of warehouses if you haven't gotten into warehouses before. So they'll walk up these, then they want to get in, right? Well, if you've got some traps running, yeah, you're going to pancake some robots on a large scale. Turn off, please. There we go. Anyway, now for the door. Morning, falling objects, no doubt. Where'd that come from? Inside a warehouse. More on that in the future. Some of these bricks too. I'll tell you about that as well. But let's go on in here, the old farm. Show you those vehicles. Whoosh. Oh, how do we get in? So a self-building, hiding kind of ramp. Sliding door to get in. In we go. Yep, because this is an estate car, it has no suspension. And those little simple little ramp hills require a little bit of speed to get out of. Oof, make myself dizzy there. Get prepared for the exit. Alright. I got out easier that time. Alright, so these two vehicles are smashed vehicles. Basically, I'm going to build a large... well, these are for use potentially around the farm. And I kind of want to build this big arena that is really huge and encapsulate it and flat. May have to make it on water. I haven't explored all of my map at all yet, so maybe I'll find a natural place. But I want to build a huge arena walled in, some farm plants in the center, enough farm plots that I can put high tier plants and get a ton of robots in and mean ones, and then use these vehicles to just run around and smash, because who cares if they get those crops? The whole purpose of it is to be an arena where these vehicles can go to town. So you're like, well, how are these vehicles there, huh? Well, this one here is made by my buddy Sid Tripper, and it is a blender. It's actually good for not only blending robots, but collecting their remains, legs or spines of haybots. But take it for a little tour in here. And let me lift it and move it around first since I got it parked awkwardly. But it's a rather interesting vehicle that he's made here. Boy, does it blend. It does blend well, let me tell you. You may be like, well, what are those big wheels? Those also come from warehouses. The really big ones on front, that is. and they look more like on the top of the warehouse like a silo. When you take them apart, kind of put a spine on them so that you can connect bricks and put like a central hub on it, so to speak. It turns into a nice wheel. Believe me, this is effective. We've played around with it already, and it does a heck of a good job. So hats off to my buddy Sid for making this bad boy. And it's out of fuel. Wow. Thankfully I have some fuel on me. Put it back in its position here. But very unique method that he made to turn it, because those front wheels are heavy. As you can see, the rear end is no lightweight itself, but the front end literally just makes the rear end swing around. But that's good enough to get it to turn. He came up with a good method here. I like it. It works. So it's blender machine number 1 for the arena. All right, so this one is one I made. You'll see I kind of like making things a little more gadgety than they kind of normally need to be. But since I built this so high up, I needed stairs to get into it. Shut the door. Had nowhere to put the box, so I just put it on the door window. All right, what does this car do? All right, my design here. Now, where do these wheels come from? These wheels are like canisters that I've actually found at different. If you go around the map, you'll see different cornfields. In huge areas, sometimes there's in the center of them farm plots and farm tiles, and sometimes there's little farm buildings. And there's a few that seem to replicate that look like they've used these canisters as like water towers. There's even tubing inside the little buildings that you can take apart and use and whatnot. So yeah, they make great wheels actually. They roll really good. All right, Dread. So what's this do? What does it do? You know, all these buttons, right? Well, 1 gets me up there. 2 extends the smashy zone. And then lights, you can see what you're doing, and 3 goes to town. So this is also pretty effective. I gotta say Sid's is probably a bit more effective because he can move around better while he's doing his business. Mine can kind of move around. I need to make it a little longer. That's what she said. So it has a little more balance when it's at the full extension of the pistons there. Yeah, occasionally you are going to catch some potentially caustic, classy jokes like that one a minute ago there. Every now and then, just toss it in there for you. So we'll shut her down. Works pretty good, moves around, drives really well when it's not in smushy mode. And look forward to using it too in the arena. Alright, just hop out now. Okay, and as you can see, I still even have the watering set up from when this was a farm. I had 2 farms at once. There's a story behind this. This farm came under attack and I didn't quite realize it. I think I left my game with a countdown going for a farm, and I came back and it didn't show a timer and I didn't pay attention. And I was away from this area for days of game time. I don't know how they got in. I'm pretty sure over here is how they got in, but they got in. And they pretty much ransacked all the crops that were here and destroyed, just shredded the farm. Now when I got back here, when I noticed all this had occurred, no bots were here. I couldn't enact my revenge. But so that caused me to, thankfully I was in the middle of setting up a second farm. That's why I was away for so long in the game. And so I had already built a watering system over there. These are not cheap to make, so I guess I've got backups. But, excuse me, but I will yank these up here eventually. So in case you haven't even gotten this far in the game, you're like, what is all this going on? These are vacuum pumps. You can change the direction they go, and look, it wants to kick it out, but it doesn't kick water into water. But if I flip it around again, it puts it into suck mode, which means it sucks water into the crate. Since this crate is connected to the opening here, I even think on top I have it actually pushed into the right side connection on this box, honestly, but I even have it connected here just for sake. No, here it is right here. Anyway, for sake of it, I've got it connected, and so this box also fills up. So if I were to go, give me that water. These two at least will feed this box. Anyway, it'll all get ripped down eventually, and I got a free stack of water. Alright, so we'll continue on with the estate tour. Yikes. Yeah, this golf cart ain't so great for the estate, is it? Maybe some suspension. Maybe some suspension, Dread. Or take that hump out. Everything else gets through there really sweet, except the car I intended to go through there. Isn't that how things are, right? Close everything up. Hides behind. Seals everybody up with a wall. Off we go. Alright. The treehouse construction zone. Take you down a tour of this side. These are not all the vehicles. These are some of the early vehicles and one of the later ones that I have. Take a look at them real quick. And get better at getting out of this stupid golf cart. This was an early vehicle that I built. Great runner around. I got it cranked up real high. It's got basic suspension. Well, the built-in game suspension, I'd say, but it's maxed out. It's a runner. It hauls. It's fun to drive. Mostly just a plaza here. This is the there's a little connector bridge from the construction zone over there we looked at. This is kind of one of my monorail stops. So I have some signs over there just for jokes, you know, signs in subways and whatnot, right? We'll have graffiti and stuff and signs, so I got some of my own. That's actually a turnaround. I'll show you that in the future for the monorail. Back to this. This is for my semi. This is a trailer bed. The semi is not actually here. The semi and the full extension cabin are at the farm. I'll show you that in the future. It's parked here because it mostly was built to carry around the tank. I did model this tank off of, God, I forget whose video it was. So many people have done it to somebody else's tank. Props whoever initially came up with it. But if you notice, this tank is long and thin. And that is because it is built to go in the elevators of warehouses. I'm not going to drop it and show you this. We'll do this in the warehouse beatdowns in the future. But you can drive around in the warehouse with it. It's a little awkward. Very protective, which is necessary because the tape bots in the warehouses are bitches. When you get farther in and you get to the red tape bots and they start shooting exploding stuff, even the tank is not a failsafe against it, against those guys. So anyway, that's what this is for. So it's got an electric engine to drive around. It's got a gas engine for the blades, some storage, passenger seat. The blades fully encompass it. I've actually found a spot where there was like 8 red boss bots in an ember forest. Like this must be their home or something, right? I've looked in other ember forests and I haven't found them like this one. I'll have to go back and see if they repopped. But I took on 8 of these guys at this tank and lived to tell the tale. It was quite a battle. The biggest problem was the orange stuff or not the orange, pink violet goo they shoot. That was the trickiest bit because when they started surrounding me, I couldn't really move the tank effectively to dodge some of it. But otherwise, with all these blades down and spinning, and they fold down, by the way, kept those red guys away, and everything else facing them was pretty much level 3 block. Alright, what else we have here? I've got a cool cargo canister vehicle here for towing. It's all painted blue because it kind of matches this vehicle. This was one of my first really good vehicle designs that I came up with. It's a 6-wheel, it turns really well, it handles really well. It's got good balance. Got a lot of storage. This was like the adventuring vehicle. Yes, I'm not telling you what I just jumped on. Got a bed on top, blades that fold out, drill bits that fold out. So this was my early on all-in-one vehicle. Ooh, what's that monstrosity there? This is Sid Tripper's. And then I gotta say, this is an impressive vehicle here. He has built an all-in-one of his own with a refinery in it. So he can take on, and this thing's got all sorts of functions. We'll demo this with him sometime. It's got drill bits that come out in all different directions, arms that swing out, and it's got blades. And what they do is they tilt down too at an angle, so he gets them right at the roots. Boxes right after. He builds his vehicles with the controls in the back a lot, and it really seems effective in scrap mechanics. So his control and handling. Whoa, look! Speak of the devil, I never see bots out here. I never. This is the first time ever. I promise. The first time ever I've seen a bot this close to my pad. Cool. But we'll let him demo this. It's a terrific vehicle. We're almost done, y'all. Onto the harbor. Harbor, you say? Well, we've got some boats. Again, my buddy Sid, he plays with me a lot. He'll be on some videos. He designed this vehicle over here, which is actually a little bigger. It's got space for 2, and gas canister, and a spot to catch a glowy. I didn't show you over there, but I've got a pin for glowies that I feed them cardboard automatically. Once we get some glowies again, I'll show that in action. They die off if you don't keep them fed, and I've been spending time away from this spot, working on another spot. So, poor guy died. But we've got collection abilities. And this boat handles really well. Both of these actually do. It took us a while to come up with them. It's kind of the basic pontoon design. It works really well with extending arms out. This is a single seater I made. It's pretty fast. And what's all this? Again, stuff from the roof of a warehouse. I made into a kind of a lighthouse tower. Got lights on it. Got those little satellites just for fun. Got it on a permanent loop spin here. Doing 360s. A slow 360. But, yeah, just for effect. I like putting some effects in what I'm doing. You could say, well, why don't you build all this out to look more like the real thing? That's kind of what I plan to do to some extent. But also, I know in some games people build mega awesome looking castles and things that look super realistic. And that's not really always my thing. I applaud those folks. I really do. And they really inspire me on things to build as well. But I tend to keep things a little more flat because I like to be able to look around and see the surroundings, especially when bots can come out of nowhere. But I may work on some completed buildings, so to speak, in the future. We'll see. I'd say the treehouse is about as complete as a building as I would probably ever want to do. And I'd say this is done. Maybe a few more things on top for the heck of it. But, oh yeah, one last thing I didn't show. Almost went right by it. My lift, oddly, I don't have it connected to anything, so I guess I could show it to you quickly. Oof. It's my 1.0 lift. I need to make another pass at it. It's a bit much. It does work. It does work. I've got buttons here I'm pushing to control it. It does, you know. Well, what is this for? Holy crap, dude. What do you do with, whoa, and why is it moving around? Well, generally, this thing is attached to a vehicle or a stable place. Usually a vehicle. Ooh. Didn't mean to do the arms. But today it's not. I figure out how to control my own creation. It's just kind of sitting there, and I've got so much torque in this thing that it literally makes it move around. But this is basically used to pick up farmers, man. So I have the trailer over there, right? The full container cabin trailer of the semi, which I'll show you at some point, is totally encapsulated. So basically I pick them up and drop them in. Get over there. Screwed that up nicely. But it's not built that well. It's very confusing. It does work, like I just showed you. It almost works too well. But be honest, once this thing grips on, and I do have it set with the forward-backward, it grips. It ain't going anywhere. But the arms don't stay. I think the whole thing is too heavy. I guess this mechanism, even though I tried to use just pipes and whatnot and made it very simplistic, I thought it's too heavy. I don't know if it's too long and too heavy. That's also what she said, or what. But I'm going to remake it because capturing farmers is kind of cool. Everyone likes to have a crane, right? For grabbing things. And to be honest, after a recent patch, cows are a bit harder to collect. You used to be able to just push cows everywhere. So if you saw some wandering around, you could push them into an area and corral them up and build a fence around them, so to speak. Although I'm pretty sure they get hurt by running into fences. Mine always seem to die after a while or despawn, whatever. But cows you can no longer push. So if you wanted to try to collect some cows, I've done it with this. I have to be careful. I've pinched one or two to death. But as long as I don't make it completely closed, I can actually pick up cows with this too. So I'll show you that maybe in a future video. But one last thing, marbles. These are from some certain pieces that you can find in warehouses. All right, so for the long story, people going, where are all these bricks, man? Or I don't know these bricks. These bricks are from a warehouse. This is foundation brick. I did the trick that a lot of people talk about, and was sad to discover that knocking the encryptor and protector out of the warehouses legally, I call it, with blowing it free with dynamite after finding them, and then hammering them out into an elevator into the roof, didn't allow me to go back into the warehouse and grab stuff. The roof you can always grab. You can, if you build a flyer, you can fly to roofs and take stuff off the roofs all day long without even going in warehouses. The thing is, in warehouses, there's so many awesome unique bricks that really add flair and flavor to your vehicles, which I'm planning to add to a lot of things. I've got a lot of things out of it here, as you can see. Some of this fencing, all of this is basically from in a warehouse. This fan, which with a bearing on it, is a spinning, turning kind of fan blades, is awesome. I'm going to put that, even though water doesn't work for pushing things, right? I'm going to put that to use on a boat or something, or a plane. A couple of those. So anyhow, the components in a warehouse are awesome. These curved pieces, 8 of them, 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. Just kind of see it with the light showing the halves. Makes a marble. It moves around pretty decently. I am going to make a marble maze as part of my amusement park that I've mentioned I'm going to build over there, along with a roller coaster. I'm going to have some marble mazes. I'm going to have a marble recovery system. So it lines them back up at a starting gate again. Just cool things you can do in the game that are amusing and fun. Show off. And I just think it's neat. I think it's neat that you can make a marble, so I'm going to do something with it. All right, guys and gals. I think that's it for this video. That is the estate. It's quite a sprawl. It is kind of separated, like the treehouse doesn't touch the parking lot. The parking lot and the subway are connected, however the subway track is not connected. The construction site zone over here that I'm going back to is not connected, even though that little bridge over there looks like it is. It's not. So I keep things a little bit split up, as it seems to help with the inevitable lag in the game. This is probably the most I would build up in this area, to be quite honest. You go to another tile. There are tiles in the game. If you play around with the world editor in the game, play this game enough, you know there's tiles, and things change as you move between tiles. Well, Whatever's on a tile plot seems to be what it has to keep track of on a tile plot. So this is about the maximum I can get before lag really wants to start piddling in and kicking in. So anything else I build in the future will be other places in the game, other pads. That strip of land over there is actually considered another tile, separate from this. So whatever I build there, even though you can see it, will not be impeded by lag here, and the pieces don't seem to impact each other. I've already tested that some. That seems to be the case. All right, so I started to end this a minute ago, and then I dragged it on. And we'll drag it on for another second, just so you can see where I stick my glowbots. My glowworms, not glowbots, glowworms. So when they are in there, I stick some cardboard in front of these sensors that are aimed at the white brick. They'll trigger. I put cardboard there. As soon as it's eaten, it'll trigger and spit it out. See, these vacuums are pointed down, unlike the ones in water, they're pointed up. And there's no cardboard in there currently because I have no glowworms. But I got a stock of glow poo for now. All right. Last but not least, I almost forgot this too. The wood grinder. This is awesome. I saw this again on someone else's video. I came up with my own kind of design. It's portable. It's connected to the ground with one brick. It's heavy, but you can slap it on, say, a flatbed of a semi. Hint, hint. Get it to places. You can just kind of pick it up and walk it places if you want. But I stuck just one tree in here quickly. As you look around, you don't really see any trees near my base. Yeah, that's because this bad boy has devoured them. So even got a little seat you can sit in. You don't have to run it. Switches are on the left and right, but we'll use them. Turn on the saw blades. Got a little broken piece sitting there. See how it's instantly picked up. Goes into the machine. We'll turn the pusher on. Aha. Did forget to do one thing. And that is to take out this piece. Don't have to, as you just saw. I can push this in. I use this as my attachment piece, so I'm not constantly having to put bricks up to connect wood. But if I put it flat, then it'll hit all the blades. I had it stuck to that, and so it was floating, and literally this was going in the one space where there's not a blade. That rarely happens. Sometimes with the thin ones, but the way everything bounces around when there's a lot of wood in there, just everything gets sawed. Picked a bad time just to show one log getting cut, right? Anyway, we'll turn it back on. And there it goes again. Just pushed it right on through. Well, I guess I'm not showing you that today. I'll max it out with wood sometime and give you a tour. Probably need to figure out a way of fixing that too, right? That's what this game is. It's a constant run of figuring things out. I need a wall back there or something. One high wall or two high wall if I can, to stop things from being pushed in. Let me see if I knock this around. No, it's just too heavy. I want to stick it somewhere so we can see it saw it. Oh well, we'll show that to you in the future. Thanks guys and gals for checking out the video. This one's a little longer than the treehouse, but that's the estate. Shows you far in the game I've made on some things. Thanks for watching. More to come in the future. Take care, and see ya.